Your mother who is in heaven has been contacting you since yesterday. She wants to give you a dire warning about a family member. My beloved child, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because this message begins with something deeply personal, the memory of your mother. Since yesterday, something about her has been on your mind more intensely than usual, and perhaps you have wondered why certain memories, words, or emotions suddenly seem impossible to ignore. Don't skip, because what comes next is not about creating fear, it is about paying attention to something you may have overlooked within your own family. Imagine your mother sitting beside you during one of those quiet moments when she knew you needed guidance without asking for it. Think about the way she used to notice things others missed. The expression on your face. The silence in your voice. The person you trusted too easily. And now ask yourself one question. If she could give you one piece of advice about someone close to you, what would she tell you? Stay till the end, because that question is going to become much more important than you realize. There may be one family member whose name immediately came into your mind. Do not rush past that thought. Maybe your relationship with this person has always felt complicated. Maybe everything appears perfectly normal on the surface, yet something about certain conversations leaves you feeling uncertain afterward. Perhaps they say one thing in front of everyone and something completely different when nobody else is around. Or maybe you have noticed a pattern but kept dismissing it because you did not want family relationships to become complicated. Here is where the story becomes surprising. The message is not asking you to accuse anyone or assume the worst. It is asking you to observe. Watch actions more carefully than words. Notice consistency. Notice who genuinely celebrates your progress and who only becomes interested when something benefits them. Something huge is waiting for you in the next part, because the family member connected to this message may not be the person you first suspect. And there is one more detail you need to hold on to before we go deeper. Your mother may represent something your heart already recognizes. Wisdom, protection, honesty, and the kind of love that notices what you try to hide. So instead of asking whether something supernatural is happening, ask yourself what her strongest advice would have been if she were sitting beside you today. Would she tell you to trust everyone immediately? Or would she tell you to slow down, observe quietly, and let people's actions reveal who they truly are? Don't skip. Stay till the end, because the next revelation will focus on the specific behavior that may have been quietly revealing the truth all along. Something huge is waiting for you, and once you notice this pattern, you may understand why your mother's memory feels so unusually powerful right now. My beloved child, there is one thing you need to notice before you make any judgment about the person this message is pointing toward. It may be something incredibly small. An unusual change in the way they speak to you, a question they keep asking, the way their attitude shifts when you receive good news, or how quickly they become interested whenever something important happens in your life. Don't skip, because these little details can reveal more than dramatic conversations ever could. Think about the family member who came into your mind earlier. Now remove emotion from the picture for just a moment and look at the pattern. Do they respect your boundaries? Do they keep your private matters private? Do they genuinely want you to succeed even when there is nothing in it for them? Or do you sometimes feel as though you have to carefully choose what you tell them? Stay till the end, because the answer may be hiding in something you have been noticing for a long time but never fully connected. And here is where your mother's memory becomes especially meaningful. Mothers often teach us lessons that seem ordinary when we are young but become incredibly valuable later. Do not trust every smile, do not reveal every plan, and do not confuse familiarity with loyalty. That does not mean every relative is secretly against you. It means family does not automatically make every relationship healthy. Someone can share your bloodline and still have different intentions, different priorities, or different ideas about what is best for you. So do not confront anyone simply because a video made you suspicious. Instead, become observant. Protect your private information. Take your time before making important decisions. And if someone consistently respects you, supports you, and treats you with sincerity, recognize that too. Something huge is waiting in this story, because the person you are thinking about may have already revealed their true attitude through one repeated behavior. And the next part will bring that behavior into focus. My beloved child, imagine what your mother would tell you if she could sit beside you for one quiet conversation, not to fill your heart with fear, but to remind you of your own wisdom. Perhaps she would say, "You already notice more than you admit. Maybe you have been ignoring your instincts because you wanted everything in the family to remain peaceful. Maybe you have been making excuses for someone because accepting the pattern would force you to change how close you allow them to be. But remember this, you do not need a dramatic confrontation to create a healthy boundary. Sometimes you simply share less, observe more, and let time reveal consistency. Don't skip now. Stay till the end, because we are getting closer to the detail that could completely change the way you interpret one particular family relationship. The next part is where the hidden pattern begins to connect with something you may have experienced recently. My beloved child, the pattern may have started with something so ordinary that you barely noticed it. A question about your plans. A comment about your personal life. A sudden change in their expression when you mentioned something good happening for you. Perhaps you brushed it aside because you did not want to read too much into a single moment. But now, look at the bigger picture. Has this happened more than once? Has this family member shown unusual interest in information you normally keep private? Have they ever made you feel as though you needed to explain yourself when you were simply making a choice for your own life? Don't skip, because this is where the message becomes more precise. The point is not to label anyone based on one strange interaction. The point is to recognize patterns without allowing fear to control your judgment. Stay till the end, because one particular pattern can tell you far more than one conversation ever could. Here is something your mother may have taught you without ever saying it directly. Pay attention to how people treat you when you have nothing to offer them. Anyone can be warm when they need something. Anyone can praise you when your success benefits them. But genuine character becomes clearer when there is nothing to gain. Think about this family member during your difficult moments. Were they present when you needed simple support? Did they respect your choices even when they disagreed? Did they celebrate your progress without turning it into a comparison? Or did they suddenly become distant, dismissive, or strangely curious whenever your life started moving in a better direction? These questions are not invitations to create conflict. They are invitations to become wiser. Something huge is waiting for you because the family member connected to this message may have already shown you exactly how they feel, but perhaps you were too emotionally close to the situation to recognize it. And now comes the part you may not have expected. Your mother's strongest message may not be, "Watch this person." It may be, "Watch yourself around this person." Notice whether you become anxious after speaking with them. Notice whether you feel pressured to reveal things you wanted to keep private. Notice whether you leave conversations doubting your own decisions. And most importantly, notice whether you repeatedly ignore your own boundaries simply because you are afraid of disappointing a relative. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because this changes the entire meaning of the warning. You do not need to prove that someone has bad intentions before you are allowed to protect your peace. You can remain respectful without sharing everything. You can love family without giving everyone unlimited access to your personal life. And in the next part, we are going to uncover the one type of information you should think twice before revealing, because that may be exactly where this family situation becomes far more important than you expected. My beloved child, the next piece of this message is about something people often reveal too quickly: their plans. Think about what happens when you tell this family member about something you are preparing to do before it is finished. Maybe you share a personal goal, a relationship decision, a financial plan, a career move, or something deeply important that you have not told everyone yet. What happens afterward? Do they encourage you calmly, or do they immediately question it, compare it, criticize it, or suddenly become unusually interested in every detail? Don't skip, because this does not automatically mean they are against you. It means you should become more selective about what you reveal and when you reveal it. Stay till the end, because there is a difference between someone who genuinely wants to protect you and someone who simply wants access to information about your life. Your mother's memory may be reminding you of a lesson you already know: not every person who asks for details needs to receive the entire story. There is another clue you should watch carefully. Notice what happens after you share good news. Does this person celebrate with you without making the moment about themselves? Or does the conversation quickly become a comparison: who has more, who achieved it first, who knows someone better, who could have done it differently? Sometimes the clearest information about a relationship is revealed when you succeed. A sincere person does not need your life to become smaller so they can feel comfortable beside you. And if someone responds differently, you do not need to argue or expose them. Simply take note. Let their behavior speak for itself. Something huge is waiting for you, because the strongest part of this warning may have nothing to do with confrontation. It may be about learning when silence is wiser than explanation. Your mother may have understood that some plans grow better when they are protected quietly until the right time. And before we go any further, remember this: do not turn this message into suspicion toward every person in your family. That would miss the entire point. If someone has consistently shown love, respect, honesty, and genuine support, do not punish them for a message like this. Instead, use wisdom. Observe patterns. Keep healthy boundaries. Share personal information with people who have earned that trust. And if you recognize the family member we have been describing, do not rush into an emotional confrontation. Simply step back and watch what happens when you stop explaining everything. Don't skip now. Stay till the end, because the next part will reveal why this person may have been asking certain questions recently, and why one seemingly harmless conversation could have exposed more than they intended. Something huge is waiting ahead, and the real revelation may be closer to your everyday life than you think. My beloved child, there is a question someone in your family may have asked recently that seemed completely harmless on the surface, yet something about it stayed with you afterward. Maybe they asked where you were going, who you were talking to, what you were planning next, or why you suddenly seemed happier than before. Perhaps you answered casually and moved on, but later you wondered why they seemed so interested. Don't skip, because one question by itself means very little. The pattern surrounding it is what matters. Think back to the last few conversations you had with this person. Did they ask about your private plans more than once? Did they seem unusually interested in your relationships, money, work, or future decisions? Did they remember tiny details you had mentioned only once? Stay till the end, because there is a difference between genuine concern and curiosity that repeatedly crosses your boundaries, and recognizing that difference can help you respond with wisdom instead of emotion. Now listen carefully to something important. Your mother's memory should not become a reason to fear someone. Instead, let it remind you of the wisdom she may have taught you when she was here. Watch what people consistently do, not just what they say. A family member can speak beautifully and still behave differently when circumstances change. Another person may not be expressive at all, yet quietly show up when you need them. So look beyond appearances. Who respects your no? Who keeps your private conversations private? Who supports your decisions without demanding control over them? Who can hear good news from you without turning it into a competition? These questions can reveal more than any dramatic revelation ever could. Something huge is waiting in the next layer of this story, because the family member you are thinking about may not have revealed their true nature through what they said to you, but through what happened immediately after you stopped giving them every detail. And here is where you need to become especially careful with your own emotions. If someone suddenly becomes distant because you stopped explaining yourself, do not chase them for approval. If someone becomes irritated because you established a reasonable boundary, do not automatically assume you have done something wrong. You are allowed to have private thoughts, private plans, and personal decisions. You can love your family while still deciding what information belongs only to you. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because the next part is where we uncover the behavior that could finally explain why this family situation has felt different lately. And remember, the goal is not to create division. The goal is clarity. If your mother's memory is bringing anything back to your mind, let it be her wisdom, not fear. Something huge is waiting ahead, and the next clue may make you look at one familiar relationship from an entirely different perspective. My beloved child, the next clue may not be something this person said to you at all, it may be what changed after you stopped telling them everything. Perhaps you became quieter about your plans, stopped explaining every decision, or simply started keeping certain parts of your life private. And suddenly, their behavior changed. Maybe they began asking more questions. Maybe they seemed unusually curious about what you were doing. Maybe they started bringing up information you never remember sharing with them. Don't skip, because this is where observation becomes more important than assumption. One unusual moment does not prove anything. But repeated behavior deserves your attention. Stay till the end, because there is a deeper reason this matters. Sometimes you only discover the true boundaries of a relationship when you stop giving someone unlimited access to your thoughts, plans, and personal information. Now think about your mother's wisdom. If she were sitting beside you, she might not tell you to argue with this person. She might simply tell you to become calm, patient, and observant. Watch how they react when you succeed. Watch how they respond when you say no. Watch whether they respect your privacy without making you feel guilty for having it. Watch whether they support your choices even when your path looks different from theirs. These moments reveal character far more clearly than dramatic accusations ever could. And perhaps this is the surprising part, the family member you are thinking about may not be completely against you. They may simply have habits, insecurities, or expectations that make the relationship unhealthy at times. That distinction matters. You do not need to turn someone into an enemy to recognize that certain boundaries are necessary. Something huge is waiting in that realization, because wisdom is not always about discovering who is wrong, it is sometimes about discovering what access each person should have to your life. And there is one more thing you should remember tonight. Do not make a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion. If something feels unusual, give yourself time to observe it. If someone says something hurtful, do not immediately respond from anger. If you discover that a boundary has been crossed, respond calmly and clearly. Your mother's memory can remind you to choose wisdom over reaction. Don't skip now, because we are getting closer to the heart of the warning, and the next part will reveal why one particular type of family conversation can expose more than anyone realizes. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting ahead, not a reason to fear your family, but a reason to understand people more clearly, protect your peace wisely, and stop ignoring the patterns your own experience has already shown you. My beloved child, there is a moment coming in this story that may make you rethink one conversation you recently had. It may have sounded ordinary at the time, a casual question during a family gathering, a private conversation, or a simple remark about your future. But sometimes the meaning of a conversation becomes clearer only after you notice what happened afterward. Did this person suddenly become colder? Did they begin treating you differently? Did another relative somehow know something you had only shared privately? Don't skip, because the important clue is not the words alone, it is the sequence of events surrounding them. Stay till the end, because if you have recently felt that something about one family relationship has changed, there may be a reason you have been unable to shake that feeling. And remember, this is not a command to accuse anyone. It is an invitation to slow down and observe. Now imagine your mother giving you the kind of advice she might have given when she wanted you to understand something without creating unnecessary conflict. She might tell you, "Do not explain yourself to everyone." Those words can become powerful when you realize how much personal information people casually reveal about themselves. Your plans, your relationships, your financial decisions, your private struggles, and even your hopes can become topics of conversation once they leave your mouth. So think carefully about who has earned access to those details. If someone consistently protects your privacy, respects your decisions, and supports you without demanding explanations, that is meaningful. But if someone repeatedly turns your private information into family discussion, comparison, gossip, or criticism, take note. You do not have to create a dramatic scene. Sometimes the strongest response is simply becoming more selective with what you share. And here comes the revelation you may not have expected: the person you are thinking about may not be the real issue, the pattern between you may be. Perhaps you have been trying too hard to keep everyone happy. Perhaps you have been giving explanations because you fear being misunderstood. Perhaps you have been allowing certain conversations to continue long after you knew they were uncomfortable. Your mother's memory may be reminding you of something simple. You can be loving without being completely open about every part of your life. You can be respectful without surrendering your boundaries. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because the next part brings us to the one thing you should never allow a family relationship to take away from you: your ability to trust your own judgment. Something huge is waiting ahead, and once you understand that, you may finally know how to handle this person without fear, anger, or unnecessary conflict. My beloved child, there is something your heart may already know but your mind keeps trying to explain away. Peace should not require you to constantly prove yourself. If every conversation with one family member leaves you feeling pressured to justify your choices, reveal more than you wanted, or defend your happiness, pause and notice the pattern. Don't skip, because this is where the message becomes deeper than simply identifying one person. Your mother may have taught you that love and boundaries can exist together. You can care about someone and still say, "This part of my life is private." You can listen without accepting every opinion. You can remain respectful without allowing someone else's expectations to become the rules for your future. Stay till the end, because something important is about to become clear. Sometimes the strongest warning is not about what another person might do. It is about what you keep allowing because you are afraid of disappointing them. Think about the family member you have been considering throughout this message. Now ask yourself something honest. When you receive good news, do you feel excited to tell them, or do you immediately wonder how they will react? When you make a personal decision, do you feel confident, or do you mentally prepare a long explanation before speaking? When you set a simple boundary, do they respect it, or do they repeatedly challenge it? These questions are powerful because they focus on your lived experience rather than assumptions. And if you discover that someone consistently makes you feel small, confused, or pressured, you do not need to label them. You simply need to recognize what the relationship is teaching you. Something huge is waiting in that realization. Your mother's memory may be reminding you that protecting your peace does not require hatred. Sometimes distance is simply space for clarity. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes saying less is the wisest answer. And now, listen closely to the part that could change the entire way you handle this situation. Do not become obsessed with discovering whether someone is secretly against you. Instead, become so grounded in your own values that another person's opinion cannot easily control your decisions. If someone celebrates you, appreciate it. If someone questions you, listen if their advice is reasonable. If someone crosses a boundary, calmly reinforce it. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, reduce the access they have to your private world. Don't skip now. Stay till the end, because we are moving toward the most revealing part of this message. The moment when the family member's behavior may finally show you whether this relationship needs more trust, more distance, or simply clearer boundaries. Something huge is waiting ahead, and the answer may be much simpler than the fear your mind has been creating. My beloved child, this is where the message becomes more revealing, because the person you have been thinking about may soon give you an answer without realizing it. Not through some dramatic confession, but through an ordinary moment when they believe nobody is paying attention. Watch what happens when you stop defending your choices. Watch what happens when you keep one plan private. Watch what happens when you receive good news and simply say, "I'm happy about it," without explaining every detail. Their response may tell you more than 100 questions ever could. Don't skip, because this is not about searching for evidence against someone. It is about seeing clearly. Stay till the end, because sometimes the truth of a relationship becomes visible only after you stop trying so hard to make everything feel normal. There is another detail you should remember: your mother's strongest lesson may have been about discernment, not suspicion. Discernment means you can notice something without immediately deciding what it means. If a relative asks too many questions, observe. If they repeat something private, take note. If they consistently support you, recognize that too. If they celebrate your progress genuinely, do not allow one uncertain feeling to erase years of good behavior. This matters because fear can make innocent actions look suspicious, while love can sometimes make unhealthy patterns look harmless. You need balance. Look at consistency. Look at how they treat you when nobody is watching. Look at whether they respect your boundaries even when they disagree with them. Something huge is waiting in this distinction, because the person you first suspected may not be the person you ultimately need to be cautious around. The real revelation could be the pattern itself, and your response to it. And now imagine your mother giving you one final piece of practical wisdom: do not fight over what you can simply observe. Let time reveal what words cannot. You do not need to confront someone because a feeling appeared in your heart. You do not need to announce that you are changing your boundaries. Simply become wiser about what you share, who you trust, and how quickly you believe promises. If someone is sincere, healthy boundaries will not destroy the relationship. If someone only valued access to your private life, those boundaries may reveal that too. Don't skip now. Stay till the end, because the next part brings us to the most emotional piece of this entire message. The part that connects your mother's memory with something you may have been experiencing inside your own family for much longer than you realized. Something huge is waiting ahead, and the answer may finally help you understand what your heart has been trying to tell you. My beloved child, there is something you need to understand before this message reaches its deepest point. The person you have been thinking about may not be the entire story. Perhaps your mother's memory is bringing your attention to a pattern that has existed quietly within your family for a long time. Maybe you have always been the one who keeps peace, forgives quickly, stays silent during uncomfortable conversations, and gives people another chance even when something inside you says to slow down. If that sounds familiar, listen carefully. Don't skip, because the real revelation may not be about discovering a secret family member at all. It may be about realizing that your kindness does not require unlimited access. You can be compassionate and still be careful. You can forgive and still remember what happened. You can love someone and still decide that certain parts of your life belong only to you. Stay till the end, because this distinction is about to become extremely important. Think about the person you have been considering since the beginning. Now imagine taking away every assumption and looking only at their repeated behavior. Do they respect your privacy? Do they keep your confidence? Do they genuinely support your happiness? Do they treat you with the same respect when other family members are present and when they are alone with you? These questions can reveal the truth more clearly than any dramatic claim. And if you discover that they have consistently been there for you, do not create distance simply because this message made you uncertain. Your mother's memory should lead you toward wisdom, not suspicion. But if you notice repeated boundary crossing, unnecessary comparison, pressure, or the habit of turning your private information into family discussion, you are allowed to respond differently. You do not need to expose anyone. You do not need to prove anything. You can simply become more selective, more observant, and more intentional. And here is the emotional truth your mother's memory may be awakening. Perhaps she would want you to trust the wisdom you have developed since she left. She may have once been the person you called when you did not know what to do, but you have learned things since then. You have survived difficult seasons. You have recognized people's patterns. You have made decisions without asking anyone to approve them. You are not the same person you were before. Something huge is waiting in that realization. Maybe the message is not telling you to fear your family member. Maybe it is telling you to stop abandoning your own judgment just to keep everyone comfortable. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because the next part brings us to the final clue, the one that may help you understand whether this relationship needs trust, distance, forgiveness, or simply a boundary that should have existed all along. My beloved child, the final clue is not hidden in some mysterious conversation, it is hidden in what happens inside you after you interact with this person. Think about it honestly. After speaking with them, do you feel respected and understood, or do you find yourself replaying every sentence, wondering whether you revealed too much? Do you feel free to be yourself, or do you carefully edit your words because you are worried about how they might react? Don't skip, because this does not automatically mean the person is harmful or has bad intentions. It simply means your emotional response deserves attention. Your mother's memory may be reminding you of something simple: you should not have to abandon your peace just to maintain a relationship. Stay till the end, because the truth you are looking for may be less about identifying one person and more about understanding what your own experience has been trying to tell you. Now bring every clue together. The repeated questions. The sudden changes in attitude. The interest in your private plans. The reaction to your success. The way information moves through the family. The way this person responds when you establish even a small boundary. Look at the complete pattern rather than one isolated moment. And then ask yourself the most important question: has this person earned the level of trust one have been giving them? That question can be uncomfortable, especially when the person is family. But family connections do not eliminate the need for healthy boundaries. If someone has earned your trust through years of consistency, honor that. If someone has repeatedly shown that they cannot handle your private information, adjust accordingly. You do not need anger. You do not need revenge. You need clarity. Something huge is waiting in that clarity, because once you stop trying to force every relationship into the same level of closeness, your life can become much more peaceful. And now, my beloved child, think of your mother, not as a source of fear, but as a symbol of the wisdom and love she gave you while she was here. If she had one final lesson for you, perhaps it would be this. Do not let anyone convince you that being kind means being careless with your heart, your plans, or your private life. You can love your family without telling everyone everything. You can forgive without restoring the same level of access. You can remain respectful without accepting behavior that repeatedly crosses your boundaries. Don't skip the final part. Stay till the end, because the last message brings everything together. The family member, the pattern you have noticed, the memories of your mother, and the one decision that can help you move forward with peace instead of suspicion. Something huge is waiting in the final words, and this time, the answer may not be about who to fear, it may be about what you finally choose to protect.